I took my grandson to see what was the movie with Buzz Light?
I think it's called
with
Lightyear.
Kiki. And like, and she had a baby with a woman. Oh, I didn't come in for this. They putting it everywhere. What up, though? It's your boy Big Snoop D-O-double-G.
Snoop catching some heat for comments he made about LGBTQ representation on the It's Giving podcast. The rapper explaining his shock at seeing lesbian parents depicted on screen. The scene from the 2022 film marked Disney's first same-sex kiss.
Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, I didn't come in for this. Just came and watched the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. So it's like, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of I don't have an answer for it.
The moment was almost axed from the theatrical cut, but Pixar employees protested and got it reinstated.
It threw me for a loop. These are kids that we have to show that at this age, like,
that part.
They're going to ask questions.
Yeah.
They are going to ask. I don't have the answer.
What'd you tell them?
Watch the movie. Eat this popcorn. Shh.
Snoop's hot take sparked criticism in the comments. One user saying, "It isn't that hard to explain. Science." Another chiming in with, "Being afraid of gay parents in movies is crazy." In this reply, he was probably smoking weed while watching the movie.
We agree to disagree a lot, and it ain't always on the same page.
The 53-year-old, who's set to return to The Voice in September, has 3 grown children with his wife of nearly 30 years, Shantae, 1 son from another relationship, and 10 grandchildren.
Wait, what do the babies call you?
Papa Snoop. The part I love is that they all start off the same way. Like, they start off crying and kind of like distant from me. I gotta earn their trust and their love.
Will they all become a part of the business, the empire?
We're in the business of love and showing how to be parents, grandparents, and, not that we perfect or that we don't make mistakes, but just giving an example of what it's supposed to look like.
Now I want y'all to let me know, how is this constructive? I'm bringing the receipts here, and this is the person in hand right here. Y'all, I didn't let y'all forget this. Yeah, this is him. Good morning, y'all. Now, I want to know what y'all think about this. This is a Friedman channel, tech channel. Hybrid. A lot of people got upset back in November. Now, they didn't have a problem with Cruella DeVille, Collard Green Cruella DeVille paying Miss Twerk the butcher a black baby, Miss Planned Parenthood Twerk, Megan. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have a problem with Megan Thee Stallion getting a big bag, and Beyonce and all of them getting a big bag from Collard Green, 20 acres and a mule Harris. So Nelly and Snoop decided to get a bag from Donald J with the toupee. But nobody had a problem with them. So Snoop, they said, lost a bunch of followers and all this kind of stuff because his commander-in-chief asked him to perform. And you had Down Low Hewley and all these, all these little, they had like a whole, y'all remember when they had like a whole so-called men's retreat where all them lame-ass beta male niggas got together, Vic cross-dressed Minsha, Down Low Hewley, all these lame-ass niggas got together talking about, the women's rights thing and all this, so Snoop ended up losing a bunch of followers. Now remember, they got all these rappers, all those folks together to speak on behalf of Collard Green Harris. And not one of them Negroes brought up reparations or anything specific for the descendants of the slaves. Not one. Not one of them. It was all about butchering your babies, this, that, and the third. Okay. So they got on Snoop because Snoop performed. Well, now Snoop is back at it again. They mad at Snoop because he said he was scared to see Brokeback Lightyear. Not Brokeback Mountain, Brokeback Lightyear. So his son, his grandson, as a logical black child as he should, is asking, all right, wait a minute. These two broads got a baby. How did this happen? Was this genetic insemination? Was this ectogenesis? Like what in the total recall is going on here? His grandson is asking a logical question, as he should. How did this happen? How did these women get pregnant out of nowhere? Where did this baby come from? He's like, man, I can't even enjoy the damn movie because my son's asking all of these alternative questions that he shouldn't have to ask when he watches a Disney movie. And that's why that thing tanked. Lightyear was one of the most beloved characters of Toy Story. I remember when Toy Story came out. And what they've done is they've bastardized it. They've taken Disney. Remember, don't y'all remember. Remember when the black media covered that buck dancing Negro that was the head of Disney, or she had something to do. I know y'all remember who I'm talking about. Some old tap dancing, step infection. She was trying to make it. She was basically trying to push this garbage on our children as hard as she could, and she was making jokes about that or something about like I can't remember her name, but y'all probably know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. So Snoop, as far as I'm concerned, Snoop stood on business. Snoop stood on business. When our children watch these programs, we shouldn't have to. And here's the thing. He's speaking from the Black American experience. We need as many children being born as possible. Because y'all put all these stations so we could butcher our children in every poor neighborhood. They don't put these Planned Parenthoods. Now think about how much they care about our kids. When have you ever seen an abortion clinic at the border? Since we got too many people, and since black folks, since it's a problem financially, taking care of this Section 8, and you Negroes cost money, and the government funds. Okay, why isn't there abortion clinic down at the border? Now, see, that would be too much for Americans to say. Now, you could put it in our neighborhoods and tell us our kids are no good. You don't need to have them. But everybody else could come in with 5, 6 bastard kids in tow. Some of these women are coming across this border, got kids. There's working able-bodied men coming by themselves. And you got a woman with a bunch of kids coming across that we got to pay for our taxes. But we're saying that Jerome and Sharkeisha, well, yeah, Jerome and Keisha and Sharkeisha, yeah, y'all, that's EBT, that's welfare queen. That's what they tell us. And Snoop's like, hey man, I'm scared. I'm scared to watch this garbage because my children, my grandchildren are going to ask me these questions. We can't even finish the damn movie without him asking me questions about stuff like this. That's not just just an innocent question. from a child, yes, that's an innocent question from the child, but that's just not no regular question. That child shouldn't have to ask that question going to the damn movies to watch a children's film. So they getting on Snoop, and you could see in the comments, you might see a couple buckbroken or some bed winching and bed bucking coons. You could see some of those on the comments too. But if you look at under people and under Facebook and you look at under the comments, they start bringing up his criminal record. He should tell his kid. I seen one suspected white supremacist say, well, he should be scared to tell his kids about his criminal record and his murder charges. Well, Snoop went to trial, I believe. Murder was the case that they gave me, they say. Snoop went to trial, and he beat that charge. He beat the charge. So it's not like he had a bunch of, he didn't have a bunch of serial illers. I'm using the word without the K. He didn't have a bunch of serial iller charges. He didn't have that. So the issue is, you have a black man that says, you know what? I don't want this for my kids. Now, a lot of us feel this way. He just happens to be Snoop. We don't want our kids watching that garbage. We don't. You promote that to your community. We don't want that. We don't want our children watching that. I'm speaking from the foundation of the Black American experience. We don't need that in our community. It's not, it doesn't procreate anything. It's not, it's counterproductive. You want to destroy society? Start telling them don't have children. We don't need that. What does it do for us? As Neely Fuller says, all right, after you take a straight couple that was ordained, divine, or that was divinely ordained to produce children, and will produce those children after 9 months. All right, let's put some Neely Fuller on you. Let's go. Let's take them in a room. Let's watch them. Now we see what the act is. What does that produce? 9 months later, we have a beautiful black child. All right, let's take two buck-broken coons or a white supremacist with a buck-broken Negro. Shout out to Ed Buck. Let's take Ed Buck, the serial iller that was strangling and buck-breaking Negroes in California and LA, one of the biggest Democrat donors. Let's take Ed Buck. And let's put Ed Buck in a room with a buck-broken Negro. And let's watch what they do for about 30 minutes. And let's compare what is more constructive. Let's be very logical right here, y'all. And y'all can't come up with this homophobic trash either. Let's be very logical. Let's watch this black family in 30 minutes in the act. And then let's wait 9 months and see what happens. This nuclear black family. Now let's watch a buck-broken nigga and some white dude with pink on his hair. Let's watch them in the act for 30 minutes. And let's wait 9 months and see what is more constructive. What was produced? Over here, we have a child. Over there, you just got somebody with a tore up ass. You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, seriously, what is more productive? What brings something into society? I submit to you A, I submit to you B. All right, now let's do some science. They can't produce anything. Genetically, no, they can't. I'm not talking about sticking something in their stomach and throwing a wig on them, and then they say they this tomorrow, and let's do some ectogenesis surgery and all. No, I'm saying you take the black nuclear family over here, and you take a buck-broken Negro over here with Ed Buck in his basement chained, and Ed Buck running up in him. Who produces the most constructive result? I'd say that the black family does. What do y'all think? So you want to sell this to my 5-year-old that's watching Brokeback Lightyear and tell Snoop, hey, you should worry about your murder charges. You should be afraid to tell your kids about your criminal record. I'm quite sure that his daughter knows. They know he used to be a Crip. They know his criminal record. He said it in all his records. And America watched it. But as soon as he said, hey, so when you start seeing these suspected white supremacists getting online talking about his criminal record, trying to compare that to buck breaking his child and saying, yeah, this is the way to go, son. That's white supremacy 101. That's a clear case value. I want to know what y'all think. Is that a clear case value? Because what did the colonizers do in the Caribbean? What do they do in war or when they want to subjugate a people? You have to subjugate them sexually. You got to subjugate them sexually. It's not going to work if you don't. Was Snoop afraid, or was Snoop saying in so many words, you know what? I can't, I can't deal with this. I can't sit up here with my platform and say, this is something I want my grandchild to watch. Because you heard what I just said. Underline that word, grandchild. Yeah. His daughter had to get into a room with another man and be productive. They had to produce. Ed Buck digging out the buck-broken Negro chained up in the basement while he's unaliving other black men, because that's what they arrested him for. I'm giving y'all bet. Y'all gonna have to hold Ed Buck, because the Democrats didn't even say anything about Ed Buck. He was a big donor. Let's talk about that. Yeah. See, they want to get on Snoop. They don't want to talk about Ed Buck. See, what they try to sell the black community is, butcher your kids, get rid of them. Submit your young boys to dresses. So these little celebrity bras, the Charlie Therons or whatever, all of these celebrity bras always abducting a black kid and buck breaking them and throwing them on a dress. They're trying to convince us that that's productive. It's in our best interest. We should be open to that. And as soon as we say, hey, no, we're not interested in that. Oh, you're homophobic. Oh, you're not open. You're not being inclusive or whatever. We don't want to include it. They don't include us in that. We don't want that. The average black American family, if you were to ask him behind closed doors, he might not say what I'm saying, but we don't want that. We're not interested in that. And you got a lot of white families. It's a small percentage of people that's interested in Brokeback Lightyear and taking their kids to that. There's a reason why that movie did not do well. They tried to sell us on Wicked. They try to sell us on that BS. You got Nosferatu. Miss, yeah, my homies think black Americans don't need no reparations. Miss Nosferatu Tubman, that Harriet Tubman was trash. And it did horrible because the freedmen wouldn't allow it. We like, nah, we don't co-sign it. They got her running around here with Wolverine nails, Nosferatu. They put a black woman in Wicked. Now think about how they selling this to the kids. They kept pushing and pushing that. They kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. So you got the white, pure white woman over the green black. Think about that for a minute. As a witch. So a black person could be a witch, but you got the pure lily white woman over her. Oh, I'm ugly. But that's what they sell to our children. Man, my kids can't watch that shit. Snoop, man, I'm behind Snoop, man. I'm behind Snoop on that subject. What do y'all think? Was Snoop wrong because he didn't want his child to watch Buck Broke Lightyear, Back Broke, you know what I'm saying? Was Snoop wrong for that? I want to know. Y'all let me know.
Nigeria, I didn't have a lot of context about race. Example. So I never identified as black until I came to the US. Because the concept of blackness was never a thing.
Yeah.
Because over there it's the default to be black. So you didn't have to define it. So I didn't even understand what black was until I came here. And even then, I didn't understand, I didn't know the concept of slavery. I didn't know the concept of the Middle Passage. So coming here, I was like, all right, cool. There's people who look like me and people who don't. When I graduated from high school, actually, my junior or senior of high school, I did a couple of essay contests that I actually won. And I won NAACP AXO award for this essay and something else. I can't remember another, I ended up winning money. And the essay was, do you think black people should get reparations? And I was like, no, you didn't work for it. And I won awards.